Oʻahu might only be around 600 square miles, but it's packed with history, beauty, and adventure. From Pearl Harbor and Diamond Head to tropical gardens, sacred temples, turtle-filled beaches, waterfalls, and the famous North Shore. As part of my journey moving from England to explore America, I had to see it for myself. In this video, I'll share my top 5 must-visit spots, along with some of the places we stopped to eat, a few sightseeing highlights, and the lessons I've learned along the way. Hawaii as a whole has 137 islands, if you count all the tiny islets and atolls. But when planning a trip, it's really the 8 main ones you'll focus on. Oʻahu is the 3rd largest and the most populated, home to Honolulu, the state capital, and of course Waikiki, where we based ourselves at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. The resort honestly feels like a small village. It has multiple towers, shops, restaurants, a spa, a gym, several pools, and even its own lagoon. The lagoon is calm and shallow, almost like a private cove, perfect for kids to splash around in, with loads of fish for them to see. This was my daughter Isabel's favorite spot at the resort. Just steps away is Waikiki Beach with incredible views all the way to Diamond Head. It's the perfect base: beach, lagoon, pools, food, and shopping, all on your doorstep. But to really see what this island has to offer, including my top 5, you only need to head a short drive away. If you're looking for a change from beaches, Waimea Valley Botanical Garden is the perfect escape. It's breathtaking. You walk through tropical gardens surrounded by mountains, and it honestly feels like stepping into another world. The valley is considered sacred land with ancient sites hidden along the trails, and it's also home to more than 5,000 types of tropical and subtropical plants and flowers. So everywhere you turn, there's something new and colorful to see. Now, the big reason we came here was for the Waimea Falls. Normally, you can swim right at the base of the waterfall. It's one of those bucket list North Shore experiences. But when we arrived, it was more of a trickle than a waterfall, and swimming wasn't allowed. It was definitely disappointing, but even without the swim, the gardens, the flowers, and the valley itself were worth every single step. It's one of those places that just stays with you. If you are subscribed to my channel, you should be expecting this one. Pearl Harbor. This was one of the most powerful places we visited. This is where over 2,400 Americans lost their lives on December 7th, 1941. When the attack began just before 8 a.m., in under 2 hours, ships and airfields across Oʻahu were devastated. Nearly 200 aircraft were destroyed and 21 US ships were sunk or damaged, including 8 battleships. The USS Arizona suffered the worst loss. A bomb hit near the forward magazines, causing a massive explosion that killed over 1,100 men instantly. The ship sank to the shallow harbor floor, where it still rests today as a final resting place. Visitors can take a quiet boat ride out to the USS Arizona Memorial, the long white structure with the American flag above it, which sits directly over the sunken battleship. You can also tour the USS both in submarine to see what life was like beneath the sea, explore the battleship Missouri, where Japan signed the surrender that ended the war. And you can also visit museums that explain the lead up to the attack and its lasting impact. Pearl Harbor is more than a tourist site. It's a place of remembrance, reflection, and deep respect for the lives lost and the history made here. It was an incredible day out and a real history lesson for the family. Just make sure to book the Arizona and Missouri tours in advance, because standby lines can get long, especially during busy times like August when we visited. After Pearl Harbor, we headed to the North Shore, a completely different vibe from Waikiki. Isabel had her first snorkeling lesson here, although she mostly preferred climbing rocks and playing in the sand. The beaches are beautiful, with spots for surfers of all levels and snorkeling for all ages. A local told us that all of the beaches at North Shore are calm in the summer, perfect for snorkeling and swimming, but in winter they completely transform with massive waves and world-class surfing. A little tip though, the roads can be narrow, traffic heavy, and parking tricky, but it is worth it. We ended the day at the North Shore food trucks, enjoying tacos, shaved ice, and acai bowls, the perfect way to finish an amazing day. This one still makes my top 5, mainly because it was such a special experience for my daughter, but for me, it was definitely a lesson learned, and an expensive one at that. Her ticket only cost $1, which should have been my first clue, but I booked the Turtle Reef snorkel because I was told it was suitable for young children, and since I was on my own with my 3-year-old while my husband was working, I thought it would be perfect. So when I bought the tickets, I was assured the water would be calm and gentle, but that really was not the case. It turned out to be much rougher and choppier than I expected, and I just didn't feel comfortable swimming us out to the reef. Instead, we stayed safe on the floating platform the crew set up and watched the fish below. Other passengers raved about the reef, full of tropical fish, and of course, the stars of the show, Hawaiian green sea turtles. The other passengers told me that they drifted past with this calm confidence, like they know it's their home. And rightly so, since they are protected by law here in Hawaii. For many people, including the people I met on the boat, it was a true bucket list moment. I'd say this is a fantastic experience if you're traveling without young kids or have an extra set of hands to help. For me, it was a lesson learned, but definitely something I'd love to try again. Looking back, I wish I'd have taken her to Turtle Beach instead, which is a popular spot to see the green sea turtles right on the sand with no need to swim. Luckily though, we actually spotted some turtles in the water around the hotel, which completely made up for it, and it was absolutely fine. Another top visit of ours was the Dole Plantation. The Dole story goes all the way back to 1901 when James Dole started growing pineapples here in Hawaii. The plantation itself became a visitor attraction much later. It began as a small fruit stand in 1950 and has grown into one of the island's most popular stops today. You can wander through the gardens, learn how pineapples are grown, and even take a little train ride on the Pineapple Express through the plantation. There's also the Pineapple Garden Maze, which is huge and fun to explore. But honestly, one of the most surprising parts was the shop. It sells just about everything you can imagine flavored with pineapple. We're talking chips, soaps, chocolates, sweets, you name it, they have made it pineapple. And of course, the highlight for most visitors is trying the famous Dole Whip, the pineapple soft serve that's become a must-have treat in Hawaii. And I must say, it is amazing. Some great sightseeing spots I really loved were the lookout points. Halona Blowhole is one of those places where if the waves are strong, water shoots up through a natural hole in the rocks. But even when it's calm, the views of the coastline and turquoise water are just absolutely stunning. Then there's Kualoa Regional Park with the Kualoa Mountains as the backdrop and Cinnamon's Hat just offshore. You might actually recognize this area. It's right next to Kualoa Ranch, where movies like Jurassic Park were filmed, and even parts of Moana were inspired by these landscapes. Standing here, you can completely see why filmmakers chose it, and I did honestly have a little flashback to watching Jurassic Park. But if you're in this area, it's worth stopping by some of the local food places. So there was somewhere we stopped called Tanaka Shrimp, which is a sit-down restaurant serving their famous garlic shrimp, a real North Shore speciality. We also checked out the macadamia nut farm nearby, which was a fun little stop with samples, local treats, and a laid-back Hawaiian feel. All of these together made the day feel like more than just sightseeing. It was a full experience. Of course, Oʻahu has so much more to offer than what we managed to fit into this short trip. From temples we didn't get the chance to visit, to hikes we couldn't do with a 3-year-old, not in this heat anyway, and beaches we didn't have time to explore. There's still plenty left on our list. One hike I'd really love to do is Diamond Head. It's short but steep. Once you reach the top, you're rewarded with sweeping views over Honolulu and the Pacific. And it has a military pass too, with bunkers and observation posts built inside the crater in the early 1900s. So while we couldn't manage it this time, it's definitely something I'd like to come back and do. We're already planning to return next year to see even more of what these islands have to offer. The people of Hawaii are truly reflective of their aloha spirit and its deep roots embodying compassion and a deep connection to nature and community. We have had an amazing time. I wish we could have fit in more, but we physically couldn't. But these are my top 5 of what we did manage to do this time.